I'm looking forward to delving into your life as an entrepreneur. And on that journey, I
Yeah.
want to first and foremost, we're hitting that 4-year anniversary of this pandemic. How did you get through that pandemic when it began in 2020, and how did it change you?
So I think, on a couple of levels. So I really stopped listening to the news probably 5 years ago. And when the pandemic hit, I, kind of just shut off a lot of like what was happening in terms of just, you got these competing sides about, you know, where it came from and, should you take the shot or not and all that. So I just kind of ignored all of that and really focused in on, my businesses and really kind of blockchain technology. Like I'd say building my businesses and focusing on blockchain are the two areas that I really focused in on. And yeah, I think I'm my businesses are very much focused on data. And so I think that if anything I paid attention to on the pandemic side was probably just looking at numbers and trying to understand the severity of it and kind of using that as a use case on, how do we as kind of humans react to pandemics and viruses and things of that nature. And so I probably leaned more heavily on the data and really kind of paying attention to different areas of the country and different countries and how they approached it. So, if anything, coming out of that, just really cemented in my mind how important it is to use data over emotion and using data from trusted sources.
So let's get to the heart and soul in your entrepreneurial world of what you do on a daily basis. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third graders at career day, and one of the kids asks you, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
uh, I make stuff up every day. How's that? So one of the taglines that I've used is everyone is making up everything all the time. And it doesn't matter whether you're Tim Cook of Apple or whether you're someone like me as an entrepreneur. We're just making stuff up every day. And you want to use data, you want to use, surround yourself with smart people, but building a business is really continuing to forge forth in uncharted territory. And so for me, it's very much leaning in on my teams. It's focusing in on, what kind of changes do we need to make as an organization, and really how do we want to, continue to provide value to our customers. So I think that's number one focus for us is really honing in on our customers and what it is that they want and what do they need, and really being you know, just hyper focused on providing value for them. So, as a third grader, if I'm talking to them and I have a 9 and a 7-year old, yeah, it's we provide, um, you know, we build custom software for our clients and we provide digital marketing for our clients. So those are the two service companies that I own.
So, when you were in the third grade, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Good question. Probably some type of an athlete.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so how did this happen? How did these seeds? I know you began your first business out of college, but how did
Yep.
these seeds eventually of being in business and being an entrepreneur, how did all of those take hold? Are you originally from Minneapolis?
Yep, grew up in the Twin Cities. Yep, and yeah, just I graduated with a criminal justice degree, and even then in college, I wasn't sure what I really wanted to do, but ended up just getting that as a 4-year degree, knowing that that would give me options. But a week after I graduated from college, I started my first company, which was a direct mail data processing business. Evolved that into more of a general marketing company where we would do email marketing and web design and custom development. So that was all in kind of the late 90s. And then in 2006, I sold that company. And in 2007, I started Monkey Island Ventures, with two buddies of mine. We've all known each other since we were about 5 years old, and Monkey Island's the name of a park that we used to play at when we were kids. And for us, we really wanted to hone in on like scalable business models. And so a lot of that was building SaaS products, so software as a service, building software. But the three of us are non-technical founders, so we always used developers, locally and offshore, and definitely had our trials and tribulations in building those software products up. So I could certainly go into some detail on those, but really a lot of it, was just kind of chance happenings and wanting to build value through business with really good friends. So that first company I was kind of on my own a little bit, and kind of lonely at the top. So having business partners that you put friendship, you put family ahead of um, finance, and that has allowed us to really thrive as a trio in building just over 15 different companies over the last 16 years.
I always hear all these stories about the best way to begin a business, how you should do it, and how you should execute it, and that sounds perfect right there. I mean, at the end of the
Mhm.
day, I think some people they always say that if you're going in just to make money, you're going to fail. There's a
Yeah.
good chance of that, but
Mhm.
if you go
Mhm.
in with the right intention and you go in with, just it always works out. Do you get that? I mean, is that kind of a play a tip
Yep.
out your playbook?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just, making money is fun, right? Having something successful where you're providing something of value that people are paying for, there's a lot of gratification in that. But in the mid and long term, generally that's not sustainable. There needs to be other reasons why you're doing it, more of kind of like a North Star of like, what is it that you're doing? Why are you doing it? What is giving back energy and helping kind of fill your cup? Beyond just money. So, uh, burnout, I think, is also something that is pretty prevalent with entrepreneurs. So again, having that North Star, having more, I would say, almost even like emotional connections to why you're doing what you're doing is very sustaining, especially through hard times because you're going to encounter those.
Yeah. So who's been kind of a hero for you in your life, an inspiration?
On a very personal level, you know, I would say, both my parents very inspirational. Um, they're polar opposites in a lot of ways. Um, and that's been a wonderful thing to see because what it demonstrates is you don't have to be fully aligned with someone to share your life with them on everything, right? And so uh, that that has been really wonderful for me to just grow up around and have as an influence in my life. Um, I would say in a lot of ways, even Josh and Zach have been very inspirational. There's times when each of us are kind of picking up the slack, and doing what needs to be done when things get hard. And character really shines through. And when you're working day in and day out over that period of time, you really get to understand them at a deep, deep level. So yeah, I would say that those are very personal, kind of inspirational people that I'm connected to that I feel that way about. Certainly from a creation standpoint, it's easy to throw out names like Elon Musk. Aside from maybe some you know I don't think any human is perfect from a character standpoint. So that notwithstanding, he's just done amazing things. I read his biography and just the pain and that he had to go through in getting to where he is today is just that's incredibly inspirational. So, but yeah, there's plenty of people from the business world that I could pick and choose from, but I would say definitely parents and my business partners on a very personal level.
So if you could meet anybody alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating and spend some time with them, who would it be?
Hmm. That's a good question. Um, yeah, um, maybe Sam Harris.
Okay.
Uh, and he's very much into meditation, mindfulness, but from a scientific perspective. So he uses a lot of science, and he's also has written a lot of different books, and has created this mindfulness app. So anyway, I and he has his own podcast as well, where he's interviewing people around all types of different issues affecting the world today. So yeah, I think he would be fun to just kind of pick his brain, and yeah, he's one of the most intellectual people I've ever heard, and it would just be fun to sit down with him.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you this. What is your motivator every day to wake up and not only to run business the way that you run it, but to also evolve as a human being? What's that motivation for you?
That one's pretty easy. We are only on this earth for at best maybe 100 years, and so there's kind of that overhang, not in a super negative way, but just kind of death, right? We're all gonna die someday. So when I'm in my 90s, I want to be able to look back on my life and be able to say, you know what, it wasn't easy, but you took risks, you created, you created businesses, you created jobs, you innovated, and um, you created a wonderful life for yourself, for your family, for your employees, um, and had a real beneficial and positive impact on your customers and on your community. So for me, it's really making the most out of this very short life that we have. And that's an easy thing for me to get over. Really, almost every barrier is just wanting to make the most out of this life.
Great answer. So let me ask you this. Growing up, what was the book for you that you loved the best? What was the book that made you love reading or to be fascinated with just the idea of writing?
Well, this is getting more into now kind of like fiction and fantasy, but uh, you know, my when I was growing up, my parents and I and my sister, we would get in our '79 Ford van, and we would drive around to different KOA campgrounds around the country, and that would be a form of vacation for us. Well, back then, you had your Walkman, so you could listen to music, or books, or just stare out the window, right? So I used to read a lot, and I loved kind of fantasy and Dragonlance and just the creativity. So those books are very much like kind of the Lord of the Rings, books. And so, yeah, for me, I think that got me interested in reading, and it would take me to places that were just so out of the ordinary that that was just a wonderful um, experience for me. From a nonfiction standpoint, I think a book that got me really kind of really critically thinking was Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, and just again, it goes back to the principles of building businesses and the societal things that can come into play that really start to harm innovation and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So that book was very kind of foundational for me when I read that.
Yeah, she's pretty groundbreaking for sure. So what's the best advice you've ever gotten?
The best advice, from a from an entrepreneurial path is to, keep going, persistence. There's not a successful entrepreneur out there that hasn't had problems, that hasn't struggled. And for me, I think the best advice that I've gotten from other entrepreneurs is to, to keep going and to embrace the struggles and do what you can to take positivity from that and continue to grow and evolve. So um, I would say that's probably the best advice that I've gotten.
So speaking of growth and evolution in your life, of all the things that you've done and become, what are you the proudest of?
I would say creating something from nothing. And our entrepreneurial journey has very much been that, where we have bootstrapped businesses from nothing into millions of dollars of yearly revenue and, employing, upwards of 40, 50 people. And so for me, that's been really, um, satisfying and rewarding. And it's something that I want to continue to do and that I feel really passionate around.
What do you like the best about living in Minnesota?
I would say the change of seasons and the outdoors. So you have to embrace winter when you live here,
Yeah.
and skiing. We don't have any giant mountains, but we have some good decent ski resorts. But yeah, ice skating, sledding, taking the kids out in the winter time is great. When it snows here, it generally stays, although this year has been uncommon.
Yeah.
But yeah, the change of seasons is just phenomenal, and yeah, I would say generally speaking, the the people here are great.
Yeah. So of all of everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you
Hmm.
run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm someone that is very thoughtful. You know, um, I think I have a lot of empathy. Uh, I like being somewhat of a futurist in terms of where our businesses go and embracing new technology. Um, and yeah, I would say I hold a lot of the kind of relationship based characteristics in terms of I just love being around people. And
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that I'm really, really good at is just kind of the people part.
So let's say we get off the call here, a time machine pulls up in front of your house. You can go anywhere in history and see one event with your own eyes. Where are you going to go?
I would probably go back to when Jesus was alive and have some real frank conversation around, um, you know, you know, his is he really, the one, and really talking to him and uh, yeah, getting getting that sense of truth from him directly. So
It's
yeah.
fascinating. Of all the answers that I ever get when it involves Jesus, no one ever has said they would approach him. You're the first person.
Mm.
And it's weird because that's the reason why we're drawn to a deity like him, because he was approachable. He was a healer. He was the one that was the unifier. I find it very strange that more people don't want to actually run into him, because I would too. I would love to just talk and be like, "What's up? What's going on here?"
Yeah,
And
well, and I think some of it even comes from like a skeptical side of just wanting to verify and prove. Again, like I'm a
true.
data guy. Like I would just love um, uh, to have that kind of a discussion and yeah, see what comes out of it.
I mean, if we could scientifically nail down spirituality, that would be groundbreaking.
Yeah. Yep, yep. I don't think AI is going to solve that either. So,
No, none of our human powers will. Maybe one day when we use more than 10% of our brain capacity, will something
right,
break through, but not
exactly.
not until everybody's a little Einstein run around. It's not
Right.
gonna happen. Hey, man,
Yeah.
if anyone wants to reach out, learn more about you, anything about your world, what's the good business? How do they do that?
Yeah, so I think more than anything, we love connecting with entrepreneurs that have existing businesses where they really want to scale that business using custom software. And so Cloudburst is our software development company, and yeah, we have a free 1.5 hour workshop called the Clarity Canvas. That if the entrepreneur owner has an idea for a software product that they would want to build, uh, we would love to talk with them. So yeah, cloudburststudio.com is the domain, and yeah, we love talking with entrepreneurs and really helping them build software that we build it for ourselves.
Right on. This has been wonderful, man. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your story. Best of luck
Yeah.
with everything.
Well, thanks so much, Joe. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.